This news kind of caught me off guard. I was not expecting to be talking about this today, but remember those mysterious drones that were flying over New Jersey? Now, they were flying over different areas in America as well, flying over different military bases or what have you. But the main focus was on New Jersey because for a couple of months straight, these weird, mysterious drones were just flying in the sky, hovering all over the place, hovering over people's homes, and they weren't really hidden. People would go outside and catch them on video every single day. The governor spoke out about it, the mayor spoke out about it, various mayors spoke out about it. You had all of these politicians speaking out about it, even Donald Trump addressed it at one point. But we never knew what in the hell these things were. And there was a lot of speculation. People thought, hey, maybe they could be aliens. But most people thought that they were man-made. The question was, hey, are these military drones? Are they our drones, or are these military drones from one of our enemies? Is this China? Is this Iran? Is this Russia? There were so many questions, and no one ever really got to the bottom of what was going on. We were kind of just told that, hey, don't worry about it, nothing to see here. Meanwhile, the people in New Jersey were freaking out because these were large drones that were just sometimes in fleets that were coming from off the ocean, and they were just flying around, hovering around for days on end. You just go outside and it just became the norm. Well, just today, a few hours ago, at the time of this recording, a private contractor, a company has come out claiming that those were their drones. They have revealed or unveiled their drone, and they claim that it was them the whole entire time. They say that all of the mysterious drones over New Jersey were theirs and that they were doing testing for the military. And look, I don't know if I believe them, because it's hard to believe anyone or anything these days. And if you remember, when we were covering that story, the military came out multiple times and said, hey, we don't know where these drones are coming from. This has nothing to do with us. All of the politicians were saying the same. Military bases were shutting down their runways. Military bases, some of them were on high alert because, according to them, they didn't know what these things were. They thought they could be enemy drones. But now come to find out, supposedly, the military was in on it all along. Now, I don't know if I believe them or not, but I do have this article pulled up, and I do have a video of these drones. So I want to go ahead and dive into this. Before I do, though, if you're here, if you like the channel, if you support the channel, please hit that thumbs up. Please share the video, drop a comment, and if you really want to take your support one step further, you could always donate via Cash App or Super Thanks, always greatly appreciated. With that being said, though, let's go ahead and dive into this article. New Jersey drone and UFO scare solved. Private contractor unveils strange aircraft, takes credit for sky mystery. A private company at a high-powered Army conference demonstrated a unique aircraft at the event and allegedly took responsibility for setting off last year's drone and UFO pandemonium in New Jersey. At the Army's UAS and Launched Effects Summit at Fort Rocker in August, a private contractor conducted a live demonstration of a manned aerial craft that wowed the crowd with its unconventional appearance and unorthodox flight movements, an attendee says. You remember that big UFO scare in New Jersey last year? Well, that was us, an employee of the unnamed contractor claims to a small group after the demonstration. The company was in the air over the Garden State in November 2024 to test out their capabilities, the contractor's employee claims, adding they were not required to disclose their activity to the public because of a private government contract. In the video, the roughly 20-foot across four-winged flyer zooms through the skies just above the tree line, drawing the attention of dozens of soldiers on the ground. I thought it was the military testing something out on the other side of the base, the source, a military veteran and drone expert, said of their first impression of the flying object. It feels like it's a UFO because it defies what you're expecting to see, they said, adding there was an uncanny valley feeling when watching it quietly motor through the sky. When it turned, you almost completely lose sight of it, the source said of the roughly 30-minute demonstration in the controlled airspace over Fort Rocker, which is why I think people were seeing this up in the sky and why there were reports of people saying that it disappeared. All conference attendees were approved by brass at Fort Rucker, which enacted strict rules for participation, including the exclusion of any drone or craft containing any Chinese-made parts, the source revealed. It would definitely have to be cleared, they said, adding, somebody was 100% in charge of coordinating that. Fort Rucker, which is the headquarters for the Army's aviation branch, could not be reached for comment. So, I don't know for sure if this is true. All we know is that this company, they've been out here doing demonstrations with this drone, and now it is leaked that they're telling people who are there for these demonstrations that, hey, we're responsible for the New Jersey drone scare. Now, if it is true, then I think we need to have some serious conversations about that. Because if you're testing out experimental flying drones over a desert somewhere where nothing can really go wrong and no one can be hurt, that's one thing. But when you're flying these large objects, right, you're experimenting with these large drones over people's homes, that's a whole different story. And the activity that we saw with these drones lets me know that this is more than you testing the capabilities of these drones. They were testing what psychological effect these drones would have on people. If you walk outside your door every night and you see these big things flying and hovering in the sky, what effect will it have on you? That's what I think they were really testing, okay? Because there's no excuse for them to have flown over people's homes, over residential neighborhoods for months and months on end, scaring the hell out of people, all right? And like I said, if you want to test these things, that's one thing. Maybe you take them flying over New Jersey for a day or two. Maybe that would be one thing. But you got them out there for an extended period of time. And it's not like people weren't noticing. The whole entire country was noticing. It was the biggest news story for the longest. People were freaking out. And I really think that they wanted to see the reaction. I think that these tests, if they're telling the truth, I think the tests have just as much to do with people's reaction as it has to do with the capabilities of these drones. You don't have to fly these drones over someone's neighborhood for 60 days to understand how they fly. You could do that anywhere. They wanted to do it over a heavily populated area for a reason. And like I said earlier, I'm not convinced that these people are telling the truth. This is just what's being said in these little circles at these conferences where they show off this new military equipment. So maybe they're responsible, maybe they're not. All we know for sure is that there was a problem with drones in New Jersey. This company is making drones and they're claiming responsibility. So if you ask me, that makes the story just even weirder. Because what's the point of keeping this top secret if you're going to go out here and do demonstrations and brag to people about what you are doing? So why was it so top secret to begin with? Y'all could have just told people you were testing out some things to begin with, but they didn't. So to me, that makes the story just even weirder. And it lets me know that they had, a reason as to why they didn't want people to know that, hey, this is us. This is the U.S. Army or the Air Force or what have you. This is the U.S. military testing equipment. And I understand that they're not going to come out and be fully transparent about things. But when you got the entire country in an uproar, and you got politicians, you got Congress, you got the president talking about it, and everyone's trying to figure out what this thing is, you feel like they could have shut some of that down, right? But no, they didn't. They allowed it to be a mystery, and now here we are a year later, and these drones are being shown off at these military shows as people brag about how they were part of this psyop, freaking people out with their drones over New Jersey for months. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about it. I'll continue looking into it because I don't know if these people were really behind it or not. But I guess, these are the first people who have come out and claimed responsibility. No one else wants responsibility for it, so I guess we'll take their word for it for now. But I want to hear from you guys. What's your word? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.